You wake up one morning and decide you want to be more attractive. Simple enough. Completely reasonable. A desire as old as humanity itself. So you make some changes. You hit the gym. You fix your diet. You get a better haircut. And then, somewhere along the way, something shifts. You go from wanting to look good to making looking good your entire personality, your entire schedule, your entire life. And that is where things start to get very, very funny. This is the story of what happens when you take the completely normal human desire to be attractive and turn it into a full-time job, a career, a brand, a lifestyle streamed live to thousands of people 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, in public, with no days off and a camera that never stops rolling. This is the story of the Looksmaxxer who went all in, and what it actually looks like from the inside. Let us start at the beginning. Because nobody wakes up one day and decides to become a professional, attractive person. It happens gradually. It starts with the gym, which is fine. It starts with tracking your calories and your protein intake and your sleep, which is also fine. Then you start watching videos about jawlines. Still fine, technically. Then you find the forums, and the forums change everything. The forums are a world unto themselves, a parallel universe where everyone has a measurement for everything and an opinion on yours specifically. Your canthal tilt, your gonial angle, your mid-face ratio, your philtrum length. These are all real terms. You now know what they mean. You spend 40 minutes looking at your own face in a mirror at an angle you have never looked at before and find approximately 11 things you had never previously considered problems. The forums have given you new problems for free. That is their gift to you. Now you have a purpose, a mission. You're going to fix the 11 things, and you're going to document the whole process. And you're going to help other people fix their 11 things too. You start a stream, a few people show up, then a few more. You go outside with the camera rolling, and something happens. People react, strangers stare. Fans appear from nowhere, screaming at a volume you did not know human beings were capable of producing in a shopping mall at 2 in the afternoon. You watch their faces. You think, this is working. Here's what nobody tells you at this point. Here's the thing the forums never mention and the hype never covers. Being perceived as attractive in public, while streaming, while surrounded by a camera crew, while trying to maintain a brand, while simultaneously managing a live chat full of thousands of people typing things faster than you can read them, is one of the most exhausting experiences a human being can voluntarily sign up for. You're tired. You're so tired, not normal tired. Not stayed up too late tired. A specific kind of tired that lives behind your eyes and follows you into every room. You have been on camera for 8 hours. Your face is doing the thing it does when you smile, but the smile stopped reaching your eyes about 6 hours ago. A fan runs up to you outside a restaurant. They are vibrating with excitement. They have been watching you for 8 months. They know your entire journey. They have opinions about your jawline progression. They want a photo. You take the photo. You take 11 more photos. You answer 3 questions about your skincare routine. You recommend a specific supplement. You smile. You keep smiling. The chat is going insane. Someone in the chat is telling you that you look tired. You know, this is the paradox at the center of the whole enterprise. You started this because you wanted to look good, and now you look like someone who has not slept properly in 3 weeks, which you have not, because the schedule does not really allow for it. The grind that was supposed to make you glow is quietly making you less glowy. Your cortisol is elevated. Your cortisol is always elevated. There's a word in this community for moments of public embarrassment or stress. They call it a cortisol spike. You are basically one long cortisol spike at this point with brief intermissions. But the camera is still rolling, so you keep going. The public element is its own beast entirely. When you first started going out and streaming in public, you imagined it a certain way. You imagined walking through a city looking excellent while interesting things happened organically around you. And sometimes that is exactly what happens. You meet someone genuinely fascinating. A conversation clicks. The chat goes wild in a good way. Someone recognizes you and is cool about it, and you have a real moment. These moments are great. These moments are why you do it. And then there are the other moments. The fan, who does not understand the concept of personal space and is now approximately 4 centimeters from your face, explaining their own looks, maxing journey in real time, while the chat watches. The stranger in the background who has clocked the camera and is making a series of increasingly creative faces directly into the lens. The moment you try to have a normal interaction with someone who has no idea who you are, and mid-conversation they clock the camera and their whole face changes, and the natural thing you were going for is now completely gone, and you are both performing for an audience neither of you asked for. You once met someone genuinely impressive, a person whose whole physical presence made the chat erupt, and you stood next to them, you the dedicated Looksmaxxer, you the person who has made this their life's work, and the chat, your chat, the people who are supposed to be your supporters, spent the entire interaction absolutely losing their minds about the other person. Not you, the other person. You smiled and laughed and were a good sport about it because the camera was rolling, and being a good sport about it was the correct content decision. Inside, you were doing very complicated maths. This is another thing the forums do not prepare you for. The comparison. You have built an entire framework for evaluating attractiveness. You have studied it. You have quantified it. You have applied it to yourself relentlessly for months. And now, because you stream in public and things happen, you occasionally end up next to people who, by your own framework, score higher. And your own framework is right there in your head, real time, doing the scoring, whether you want it to or not. You built the instrument that measures you. Now you cannot stop measuring. Researchers who study social comparison theory, like Leon Festinger, whose foundational work in the 1950s established that humans are compulsively driven to evaluate themselves against others, would not be even slightly surprised by any of this. The urge to compare is hardwired, but most people get to do it privately in their own heads, without a live audience watching their face while it happens and typing about it in real time. There is also the strange experience of becoming known for something you started for personal reasons. You began this because you wanted to feel better about how you looked. That was the original goal. Somewhere along the way, the goal shifted. Now the goal is content. The goal is the stream. The goal is the number of viewers and the reaction in the clip that gets shared and the moment that goes viral. Looking good stopped being the destination and became the vehicle, and you are not entirely sure when that happened. But it did happen. And now, looking good is your job. And having your appearance be your job means that every bad angle, every tired day, every unflattering light in every nightclub in Miami is not just a bad photo. It is a bad day at work. And at some point, standing in that nightclub you own, on hour 7 of the stream, surrounded by noise and light and chat messages and someone's arm appearing in your frame uninvited, you will have a thought, a quiet thought. A thought you will not say out loud because the microphone is still on. The thought is, I am extremely tired and I am not having very much fun. And the version of this I imagined was different. The thought comes and goes quickly. The chat asks you a question. You answer it. You keep going. Here is what is genuinely interesting about all of it, though. And there's something genuinely interesting. Underneath the absurdity and the sleep deprivation and the cortisol, the whole project starts from a real place. The desire to improve, the desire to be seen, the desire to feel like you have some control over how the world receives you, in a world where a lot of things feel out of control. What is less normal is the live broadcast. What is less normal is the 8 hours a day, the no days off, the comment sections, the comparisons, the metrics, the constant self-evaluation in front of an audience. What is less normal is turning the very private project of trying to feel good about yourself into the most public thing imaginable, and then being surprised when the exposure makes the private project harder to complete. Because here's the quiet truth that lives at the center of the whole thing. The most attractive version of any person is not the version that has optimized every variable. It is not the version with the best canthal tilt or the most developed masseter muscle or the precisely calculated morning routine. It is the version that is not exhausted. The version that is actually present in the room. The version that laughs at something because it is funny and not because the chat will clip it. The version that is not running a live broadcast of their own face while simultaneously trying to be a human being in the world. You now can't spend a day without watching your back, wondering when the next clip will go wrong. The aim was beauty, the result, betrayal.